So although the electrical symbols and electrical abbreviations and tools uh, are wide open, okay, so you cannot say that this is just the exclusive list. There are plenty more which we can count, but we will limit with these only because these are most commonly used electrical tools as per our household requirements goes. The electrician generally which visit our home carries the plier. So that plier could be the common plier or linesman plier it is called, or it may have some special pliers which are meant for specific purposes. He generally carries a toolkit with him or a bag with him in which various tools are there. So screwdriver is also there, line tester is there, measuring tapes are there, drill machines are there. Okay, so we'll discuss these tools one by one. So first is the T-type stripper for 10 to 18 AWG wire. So what is meant by stripper? We have seen the PVC cables or the cables, electricity cables at our home, which are connected to 5 ampere switches and also 16 ampere switches. So 5 ampere switches are generally short switches which you have seen, and it comprises of 3 terminals. One is the earth terminal, which is the above one, and it is a bit fat one. And below 2 terminals are, one is the phase wire and one is for neutral. Okay, so how can we differentiate between the 5 ampere and 15 amperes? So the 5 ampere is a bit smaller, and 5 ampere slash 6 ampere, and similarly 15 ampere slash 16 ampere. It is the current which these terminals draw when the loads are connected to it. Okay, so the 15 ampere and 16 ampere, the power switches you can say, or the power plug which is connected to it. The appliances which are associated with these power plugs are generally single phase AC or microwave. These two are generally associated with it. Okay, although for AC connection you can also use MCBs. Okay, so rest of the plugs which are used for, you can see, electric kettle or mixie or charging points of our mobiles, all use 5 amperes. Television, computer, okay, printer. The cables are nothing but the conductors, but the it is having the covering of a insulating covering. Okay, you can say the PVC covering. Okay, so the purpose of these cables are to supply the current to the, or to draw the current from the mains. Okay, and supply the current to the load, and it is destined to reach there. Okay, so these PVC cables or the insulating part ensures that the current flows only in that direction or only to the concerned device only, and not elsewhere. Okay, so the you can see that the we are having switchboards. Okay, so the switchboards are connected on walls. Okay, so we do not see those cables which are passing through the switchboard because that is there in the background, and we do not feel the current passing. Okay, because of same these PVC cables. Okay, but sometimes we require that the two cables are to be connected. Okay, so when two cables are to be connected, then a joint is to be raised. Okay, so when a joint is to be made, it means that the PVC portion of the cables is to be stripped. Okay, so some part of it is stripped. So the specialist plier which is available with us for this purpose is called T-type stripper, because it is having the tooth structure. You can see I have just zoomed this diagram, that it is having few teeth. It is a crocodile type of structure. So it helps in removing that PVC cable coating over the conductor so that the conductors can be joined. Okay. And another, it is the AWG wire. What is this AWG? AWG is the American wire gauge. Okay. So this is the what does these wire gauge do? This is the two types of wire gauges which are more common. First is this the AWG, and next is the SWG, standard wire gauge. So cables are given some numbering, and based on that number we can purchase and use the wires. Okay. The as the number increases, the width of the cables decreases. Okay. So wire gauge is something, a circular metallic portion, and circles are there. Bigger the circle, it means that wire is more thick, and some numbers are assigned to it. Okay. So numbers are inversely proportional to thickness. Bigger the number, lesser the thickness. Okay. And less number comprises of big thickness. Okay. Bigger the thickness, as the thickness is more, the number is less. Okay. So this is the correct sequence, current sequence and correct sequence. And second is the crimping tool. This is again used to, this is stripper was used to take the insulating part away, and this is used, 9.5-inch crimping tool is used to connect those cables or the conductors. Okay. For it is used for the solderless terminals. In the electronic connections we use soldering for connections. Here we make a joint using this type of plier. Next is the 1 kilovolt insulated grip long nose plier. Okay. So this is used to, we have a junction box at our home. So what is junction box? Junction box is the box where many wires are supposed to come. Suppose this is our junction box, and wires are here, and wires are going towards the load. You can say, okay, this is going for fan, and this is going for, say, LED bulb, and so on. Okay. But when we are at the construction part of the any home or flat, we make junctions, and surplus supply wires are left at the junctions, so that for the future use, you can say that at the moment we are having the requirement of these two loads only, but in future you can say you want to add some fancy light in a room. Okay. So that can be used, extra wires can be used. So these wires are placed in the junction as a cluster. So we are required to take that wire out, and since in the junction box there is less space, so the pointed tool is required, and that pointed tool is this nose plier. Okay. And also, since it is used for at the time of, it is created or inserted in the walls at the time of construction, so some cement or construction material is also there in the junction box, although it is the unwanted material. Okay. So that is also removed using this nose plier. Okay. So next is the cable cutting plier. As the name suggests, it is used to cut the cable. For example, if we are having a big uh, length of cables, and how do we manage those cables? Those cables can be arranged either in the circular fashion or in the clusters. So as and when we are requiring those, so we can insert that cable in this cable bender, and we can bend this cable. Okay. This is the cable bender, and cut as per our requirement. Okay. And next is the screwdriver. So screwdriver, you know already that it is used to screw in the screws in the walls or wooden cabinets or electronic items, say printer, CPU, etc. And line tester is used to check the continuity of the supply. Okay. And linesman plier. So linesman plier can do every function which we have just discussed, but not in a specialist manner. Okay. It can cut the wire, it can take something out of the junction box, stripping, crimping, everything can be done, but not in a professional manner because it is the multi-purpose plier, linesman plier. Okay. Next is the measuring tapes. These measuring tapes are of mainly two types. First is the metallic and next is the non-metallic type. So the measuring tapes, both are having some advantage and disadvantage. The metallic type can measure longer distances, but it is to be handled with care because its metallic edges are sharp and it can cause injury. And other this metallic measuring tape, it is harmless, but it can measure hardly 5 feet. Okay. And next is the electric drill machine. It is used to drill the walls, beams, wooden platforms, granites, in which is used in our kitchens. Okay, to pass the LPG pipe. Okay, flooring, stones. Okay, our floors in present day context are generally made of the stones, quota stone, for example. So sometimes we are require what we require that the say if you are creating a study or a computer room and you want a fixed cabinet. So stone is drilled to serve our purpose. Okay, so it is nothing but it is having different bits. Okay, so as per our requirement we are required to change this bit. Okay, because for wooden, because the thickness level of every item is different, so we are required to do this. Okay, next is our the commonly used abbreviations again, and this is not the exclusive list. So but you are required to remember these abbreviations because these are helpful in drawing the single line diagrams and help in representing those things. Because in the whenever you are doing the electrical drawings, you cannot mention or name each and every appliances used there by their full length name. Okay, so symbols are used and abbreviations are used in electrical drawings so that it is convenient for us, and also the space optimization function is achieved. Okay, so I will be taking few of the abbreviations, not everyone, every. So first is the ampere. So this is the ampere is denoted by A. Okay, so some of the students are having the practice of using AMP as ampere. Okay, so that should be avoided. Next is our air conditioning. So air conditioning, or we generally say AC. Okay, so but AC stands for alternating current and air conditioning both. So there is a word of caution here that air conditioning is to be written as A/C and alternating current can be written as AC. Okay, so next is the automatic transfer switch. Building is by BLDG. Conduits, which is pipes, is denoted by C. Circuit breakers, CP. Circuits, CKT. Conductor, its diameter. Distribution wires, down, up, exhaust fan, drawings. Okay, equipments used: exhaust, simple exhaust and exhaust fan are two different. Fire alarms, floor, fluorescent lamps, tube lights, which is your and foot and feet is by FT, galvanized to protect the rusting. Okay, grounding, ground is denoted by GND, horsepower by HP, inside diameter inches, incandescent bulb is by INC, isolated ground, junction box, etc. Okay, so next comes the kilovolt, kilovolt ampere, kilovolt ampere capacitive, kilowatt hour, kilowatt, etc. So what is to be taken care of here? That whenever you use kilovolts parameters, K should be small, for example in power, and W should be in capital. If you are in habit of writing like this, so do the practice of writing either like this or small k can be written as this, but it is not generally used. Okay, so general practice is that you increase the length of the k. Okay, so if you are increasing the length of the k, it will be small k. Okay, this thing is very important, that what is to be written in small letters and what is to be written in capital letters. Similarly, in energy meter we use to measure the energy unit, and energy unit is kilowatt hour. Now H is again small. Okay, so from all yet 29 to 34, you are required to be a bit more careful. And next is the manhole, motor control centers, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and so on. Normally closed, normally section, PSI, yes. Private building exchange is also those intercoms which are available at our home. PSI is the pound per square inch. This is the pressure unit. Okay. For example, if we are using our two-wheelers, bikes or scooty, when we go to petrol pump and tell them, okay, fill the air to 32 or 34 if you are using pillion rider as well. So what does that mean? It is using the unit PSI. Okay. Power by PWR, transformer by XFM power, transformer impedance, single pole, two pole, three pole, phase, and so on. So remember and learn these abbreviations. Next is our electrical symbols. Again, same purpose that in the electrical drawings we cannot draw every diagram, so we can use these symbols. Okay. So again, the caution is to be applied for resistance symbol. And whenever we draw the resistance symbol, if it is beginning with crest, then it should end with trough. Okay. It is not that we this or this. If this is our ground level, some part of the resistance should be below that, some part should be above that. Variable resistor, light sensitive resistor, similarly high voltage resistor, high current resistors. Similarly, in the while you are drawing the inductors, this is the best way to draw. So although I have drawn this inductor using computer tools, so it is not good enough, but the good way is to draw the straight line, and these coils should be above the straight line. Okay. And in case of variable, you can draw like this. But in case of the transformer, iron core or air core transformer, so these coils are to be placed in. Okay. So if you are drawing the primary coil, it is in. Secondary coil, it is in. Okay. You cannot say that it is always on the LHS or always on the RHS. So iron core is done like this. Next is our DC quantity, AC quantity. Power transformer is presented by like this. And diodes and zener diode you have already known to you, but one thing is to be noted that cathode is represented as K and not as C. Okay. And in the transistor PNP and NPN, the arrow is always from P to N. You can see here, this is NPN. So this is say N, this is P, this is N. So arrow is moving from P to N. Similarly here, P to N, P to N. Okay. This is to be taken care. Antenna symbol is simple, and JFET is the field effect transistor. This is the drain source and gate terminal. AC quantity you know. And in earlier days there were vacuum tubes diodes and vacuum tubes diodes were used, and the terminals were plate, cathode, and control grid. And these were having the applications when the gas is first the temperature was raised, so the surrounding gas was ionized, and then it starts conducting to function properly. Okay. So earlier the TVs which were having a big cabinet at the back were using same, and radios also were using same. Okay. And next is our silicon control rectifier. This is again you have studied in your previous class, but what is to be taken care of here, that whenever you draw this SCR or silicon control rectifier, the gate terminal is to be never started from the junction. Okay. This is to be taken care of. Few students, what they do this, that this is the gate terminal. No, it never starts from the junction, it is slightly away from it. Okay. Same thing is applicable for other power electronic devices as well. Diag triag is our having the application in the fan regulator. We are having two fan regulators. One is that 1234 type, which is resistance based, and other is the smooth transition of fan speed. So there this triac is used. So these are having main terminals and gate terminals. Similarly for unijunction transistor, it is having base terminals and emitter. fusing is there, earthing is there, conductors are either joined or they are overlapping, symbols are different. And voltmeter, ammeter, wattmeter, these you all know. Okay, and motors and generators are represented by M and G at the center. If it is DC motor, then DC symbol is used, AC motor, AC symbol is used.